But the fact that it never occurs to most people is just one reason that so many professional, hardworking, conscientious business owners and salespeople fail to create that top-of-mind awareness and dominate their markets. Now let's take a look at some of the other reasons that happens. Number 2, they don't know who they're after. They fail to clearly identify their target market, which makes it unlikely, if not impossible, that they will ever reach them. Now, if you followed along with our brief exercise today and identified exactly the market you're after, and perhaps a sub-market or two that you could target, then you're already way ahead of the curve on this. If you didn't do that, I would encourage you to go back and do that now. Number 3, they fail to establish meaningful contact with the decision maker. It's pretty straightforward and simple. If you're not in touch with the buyer, you can't sell to them. So if you don't have an effective strategy for getting in touch with the person who makes that decision and creating entry-level and comfort-level awareness, then you will never be able to dominate. Number 4, poor or ineffective communication. Many business owners and salespeople wing it when it comes to their messaging. They fail to provide value in every communication, as we discussed in the previous video. When they fail to create value, some try to compensate with brute force selling and hardcore closing tactics that everyone hates. As a result, they lose more business, their communication continues to deteriorate, and they fail to dominate. Number 5, they fail to get attention. Even if it occurs to you, even if you know who you're after, even if you know how to communicate, if you can't get their attention, you can't accomplish any of it. Market leaders know that it's impossible to establish meaningful contact if you are unable to get people's attention. So how are you currently doing that? Are you running ads? Are you making cold calls? Are you visiting people in person? In the words of Dr. Phil, how's that working for you? Number 6, their follow-up is terrible, or maybe just terribly ineffective. Most businesses are very sloppy when it comes to follow-up. They don't keep track of exactly what they have to do or when. They take inadequate notes, so they don't remember their last conversation with a prospect. They have little to no ability to pick up a conversation exactly where the last conversation left off, so they're constantly having to start over with people. Poor follow-up is an epidemic among businesses large and small, and it's a huge reason many people fail to lead or dominate. Number 7, they don't know who's where or what's what. This is similar to the previous one, but a little more specific. Most business owners and salespeople have no idea where each of their prospects stand in terms of the buying cycle. They don't know who's ready to buy now, who's open to buying, who's never going to buy, or who's gone radio silent. As a result, they have lots of rudderless conversations that fail to get them to their goals. Number 8, they're spotty. They fail to remain visible. In our last video, we talked about the fact that many businesses are completely invisible to the markets they're trying to serve. The people in their markets don't even know they exist. Well, that's not what I'm talking about here. Instead, I'm talking about people who have been in touch with their target market, with their prospects. They've let them know who they are and what they do. They've engaged in conversation. They may have even moved the discussion forward, but then they dropped the ball before the prospect had a chance to buy. This happens in business all the time, and it kills way too many deals. Don't let this be you. Number 9, they can't do it all themselves. They're overwhelmed. Many businesses fail to adequately keep in touch with their prospects, as we just discussed in number 8, but then they blame it on number 9. They say they just can't do it all themselves. And this is probably true, particularly for small businesses and for solo entrepreneurs. For that reason, market leaders of all sizes learn how to engage people, even when they're busy doing other things, by delegating to technology. This is one of those areas that clearly demonstrates what I was talking about in the previous video, when I said the world of sales and marketing has changed, and if you're not keeping up, you're definitely falling behind. If you can't do it all yourself, you're going to need some technology to help out. Number 10, they can't close the sale. I'm not talking about the outdated approach of beating people over the head with manipulative closing techniques and hardcore closes. I'm talking about the inability to simply get a yes or no decision out of a prospect who has already expressed interest in buying from you. When you do the rest of these things well, this part becomes a lot easier, but you still have to be able to close the sale. If you can't, you can never dominate. Number 11, they don't know what's working. Business requires experimentation. That means we're always trying new things. Nothing wrong with that at all. But remember, the reason we experiment is to determine what's working well so we can build it into our process for next time, and what's working poorly so we can either fix it or eliminate it. If you fail to keep track of what's working and what's not, then all the experimentation you're doing is absolutely wasted. Number 12, they quit too soon. Many business owners and salespeople may be very close to accomplishing great things, but they have to keep going if they want to get there. Creating top-of-mind awareness with your target market is not something you try. It's not something you dabble with. Creating top-of-mind awareness is mission critical if you want to succeed long-term. When you're doing it right, it becomes a lifestyle. Everything you do becomes about creating or enhancing awareness of you and your business among the people inside the target markets and submarkets that you have identified. From your emails and texts to your social media posts and phone calls, it becomes a symphony of coordinated communication. It's proactive. If you drop the ball and go back to just responding to whatever's coming at you, you are no longer leading. You're just following the priorities established by other people, those who manage to work their way into your inbox. When you make the decision to become known in your market, follow the advice of Winston Churchill, who said, "Never give up. Never, never, never give up."